Hi everybody in Facebook lands. My name is Bonnie and I'm the caretaker curator here at the Barnes Museum in Southington, Connecticut. And we are going live on Facebook for the first time ever. We are bringing you the What Is It program on What Is It Wednesdays. Why are we doing that? Of course, so many institutions are coming to help out their communities in this time. And we are hoping that we can bring this What Is It program to you and on a weekly basis. And we're just double checking things here really quickly to make sure it's coming up and you're all live. So if you can see us, let us know. Let us know that it's coming in on live and everything like that. And let's see. I see one person viewing. I think it's coming in fine. Just all good. Let's see. We're looking at it. We're making sure. Thank you. Yeah, we're on the live chat right there. So I have my friend Michelle here helping me today from the library. Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting us know that it's live. I appreciate it. So again, this is the Barnes Museum in Southington, Connecticut. And if you've never been to the Barnes Museum or if you don't live in Connecticut, this is the house that we are in right now. And this is a historic house museum that was built in 1836. 3 generations of the same family lived here and then ended up donating this building to the town of Southington. I'm going to get to that in just one second. Why do we want to bring the What Is It program to you every single Wednesday? For your students who are home, the Barnes Museum has been running the What Is It program to local schools since 1981. It started with one of our curators, Barbara Clark, and has continued ever since. We've gone to all ages, all the way from preschool through the collegiate level and beyond, presenting this program. And we can't think of a better way to help our community than continue to present it in this time of COVID-19 when we're practicing social distancing. Just so you know, the Barnes Museum will be closed to the public starting tomorrow, 3/19, going forward. And keep up on our social media sites and on our website for the different events that we'll be holding. So what can you expect from this program? We're hoping that this is going to be about 30 minutes. I'm going to show you something neat from the museum's collection, and then we'll have a little bit of Q&A afterwards about it. If you can't visit us live or you're watching this afterwards, please send in your questions anyway. We'd love to answer it for you. And today we are going to be talking about what is the Barnes Museum. And the reason why we are doing that is because every single day we have patrons come into this museum and say, I've lived here my entire life. I've never been in the building. I thought you were a library. I didn't know we were open to the public, all this sort of stuff. So today is what is the Barnes Museum and what is here and why is it such an important part of local history in Southington, Connecticut? Well, I showed you what the house looks like. Let me introduce you to these smiling folks in the picture over here. This is the Bradley family. And I know you're thinking, the Bradley family, it's called the Barnes Museum. Why is that? Well, I'll get there, I promise. This gentleman right here is called Eamon Bradley. And if any of you have ever visited Southington and you visited Bradley Mountain Soaps up near Crescent Lake, this is where Eamon grew up. So go have some goat yoga and do some goat soap up there and support our local businesses because they're doing something great over there with history as well. So Eamon Bradley married his wife Sylvia, seated right here, in 1836. And the two of them were raised here in town. They were the youngest of their respective families, and they were farming families. And they decided that when Eamon came of age, that farming kind of wasn't his deal, that he wanted to be a businessman and an entrepreneur, and he was a darn good one. He started many businesses here in town. He invested in many more, and he was part of our state legislature, gave a whole lot to this town of Southington and beyond. They raised their 3 children in the house. Their oldest son is Franklin, standing right here. Franklin married Julia Arnold. Julia is the reason why we have Bradley Memorial Hospital, now Hospital of Central Connecticut here in Southington. And they had one son, Eddie. Eamon and Sylvia's youngest of three is Emma. And again, for those of you local folks, when Emma grew up and got married, she lived in what's now the Elks Lodge, right next to Webster Bank, that beautiful white building. Then Eamon and Sylvia's middle daughter is Alice. Alice marries Norman Barnes, hence the Barnes Museum, on her parents' anniversary, October 9th of 1873, though. And 10 years later, they have this adorable little baby. They named this little boy Bradley Barnes. Now, Bradley inherited the house from his grandfather after his grandfather passed away. And Bradley lived here from 1910 to 1973, when he passed away at the young age of 90 years old. All those business ventures that I started talking about, that Eamon started, went through the entire family. And by the time Bradley passed away, he was the richest man in Southington. He was worth about $10.5 million, and he gave every red cent of it away. He gave it to churches, schools, organizations, foundations, and he gave this house, along with everything in it, to the town of Southington to be run as a museum and library. Why? Why? Like, did he do it because he thought it was something to keep his memory alive? No, he did it because he loved the town of Southington. And his family had a collection like no other. Now, I know all of you are home and you're cleaning everything like there's no tomorrow. This family collected things from the beginning of time, and they kept it all. So the Barnes Museum's collection has a complete record from the 1740s, our documentation goes back, all the way through 1973. Almost every single item in this house is original to the family. And not only do we have the object, we might have the original box it came in, we might have the receipt, the correspondence with a company, the extra parts it came with, the catalog it was ordered from with the handwritten notes. So what's unique about this collection is that it gives us a history of time in Southington. And we can learn not only about this family's history, but we learn about the history of the New England towns for 137 years and more of active history. Again, I said that our archives date back to the 1740s. We have close to 10,000 photographs in our collection. They range from the very earliest of technology. We have glass plates and lithographs and tintypes, all the way through technology of 1973. And then we're a museum. We take photographs of things. We keep taking photos every single day. I was taking photos yesterday while I was here. So we keep adding to that number. One of the best parts about our collection is a little book just like this. And this is one of our 52 family diaries. They were written in daily by many members of the family, and they bring the house to life. We have first accounts of happenings all around Southington, not just in what was happening within this house, but what was happening in government, what was happening with different social classes, who was working for who, how much they were getting paid, how much things cost, how long it took to travel from here to there. We can learn about a wide range of topics and people through the collection. My part, again, is the everyday objects that we have. So many things that you and I would throw away today. Again, we're all home, we're all cleaning, right? And I throw away a ton of stuff. If I'm not using it anymore, what's that rule that some people say? If you haven't touched it in 6 months or a year, toss it out. You don't need it anymore. Again, not this family. So we even have little talcum leaves. They're paper that if you cut yourself shaving, you would rip off a piece and ball it up and put it on your face for shaving. Things that just would have for sure been tossed out, that teach us these little everyday parts of time and industry and throughout Southington, Connecticut and New England towns. So why are we a museum? Again, Bradley donated this house to the town of Southington, and now we are run under the direction of the executive director and the board of directors of the library here in town. And it's been that way ever since. That was Bradley's wishes in his will. He did that because he knew the library was another wonderfully important institution in town. Ooh, there goes my earring. A wonderful institution here in town, and would understand how to catalog and collect and care for such a unique collection. A lot of people ask us, do we take donations? Well, because this is an intact collection, as amazing as some donations are that we are asked to take, we typically don't take donations. We leave some sort of outside history, mostly to our local Southington Historical Society. And if you haven't followed them on Facebook, please go follow them as well. They are also in charge of Southington's history. We're in charge of Southington's history through this amazing collection. However, every once in a while, we take a collection or a donation that we just can't say no to because it has something to do with the history of this family or the history of the house. And later this week, and even maybe possibly later today, you'll see videos come out daily from the Barnes Museum. And it's going to be a series called Songs of the Steinway. We have an original 1914 Steinway player piano. And the piano has, we have 144 original music rolls in the house. And we received a wonderful donation from a woman in town of almost 125 more music rolls from the same companies that we had the originals. So we get to have a little sing-along and show how music is an important part of not only the history of this house, but is important to your lives as well. And how we can kind of share that through this time of social distancing and staying home. So how do we become a museum? What keeps us going? We give tours typically daily through the year. Again, we won't be open as of end of day today, but we do hope you keep up with us visually. I'd like to show you a couple other things on the table. Another collection that we have is 1,000 books plus in our collection. And with all of you kids home from school, the neat books that we have are some just like this, and we have dozens of school books from the 1800s. This one has modern world geography and actually talks about Connecticut, talks about the fertile soil, talks about how we went from farming to industrialization and why, and what we're most known for as a state with industrialization, carriage parts and tobacco and many, many, many other things as well. This one right here is a language and grammar book, and the language and grammar book is great. There are lessons in it that will show you a picture, maybe just what you kids are doing at home, where it says, describe this picture, tell us what's happening in the scene, be descriptive, use your imaginations. So some things in education have changed a lot. Some of the geography and the maps that are in here look a little bit different than what you may be used to today as times change and borders change. Grammar, a little the same. It has a few different lessons in it, but the idea is very similar. Math, I have to tell you, math looks the same. 2 + 2 was still 4 way back in the 1800s. It will be that way till the end of time. But the math equations, how they are written out, are much different than the way you learn them today, which is neat. This right here is a board game. It's called Polly Wanna Cracker, a very fun game. And the reason why I brought this out on display today is because starting next week, you'll be able to go to the Barnes Museum's website, thebarnesmuseum.org, and there will be a virtual exhibit. Every few days, I'll be adding a board game and possibly a short video to show you how the game is played. And what we'd love to know is what games you all are playing while you're home, because learning happens through fun, and family fun with board games, I know in my family and friend group, is very, very important. I'm sure it is to many of you. And then We'll be exploring each week as we go and move on forward. Like next week, I'll have one object and we'll kind of, maybe one or two, and we'll talk about what the object is. I might send pictures out a couple days ahead of time, have you guys guess what it is, maybe before the full display of it on Wednesday morning. And we hope to keep bringing it to you for as long as we possibly can. So I see a couple things coming up. Do we have a couple of questions, Michelle, or just hi?
No
how
questions,
you doing?
just hi. Olivia says hi, Auntie Bonnie.
Wonderful. Hi, Olivia. How you doing? We appreciate all of you watching, and we hope that you can share the video. Again, I mentioned that if you don't have Facebook, obviously, or if you know someone who doesn't have Facebook, we will be bringing this to our different social media platforms. The Barnes Museum is on Instagram and Twitter, and these videos will be uploaded to YouTube so they can be shared. The education part of this is very important for us here at the Barnes Museum, and continuing this program that has been part of the museum's history for so long is quite important to us. And I think what we'll do is I will show you a couple of the rooms in our collection as we walk, part of the rooms of the house as we walk around. So if you don't mind being shaky for just a couple minutes, I'll show you the dining room that we're sitting in right now. Before I do, the house has 17 rooms, and they are all, again, chock full of original artifacts that we have in the house. The dining room is one of my favorites. The beautiful chandelier here, everybody asks if it's a Tiffany. It's not a Tiffany, it's an Edward Miller Company lamp in the Tiffany style. Most of the light fixtures that we have are from the Edward Miller Company, and we have the original drawings and designs straight from the company as they were working and ordering it on. You'll see the beautiful grounds a little bit behind me in the window. Practicing social distancing, 100% yes, but these grounds are beautiful in the spring, and as things get warmer, if you can safely visit them without being in any groups of people, or even pass by and see them, please do that as well. We have a collection of plates in this room, and that's kind of why I want to show you this room and walk around. So here we go. Let's see how it works. Hi. These plates behind me are our plate rail, and they go around the entire room. Many of these plates were collected at estate sales and auction houses. Bradley and his wife Leela enjoyed frequenting estate sales and auction houses, and we have complete lists of what they would purchase at each sale and what each item cost, which is great. This plate right here is one of our favorites in the collection. This is a presidential plate, and this is from the 1892 Harrison administration. It is, there are a couple of Harrisons. This is the Harrison that was in administration for a little longer than the other one. But that is one of the presidential plates. And then for you locals as well, two down, you see that nice little plate right there with the house on it, this one right here. That is a commemorative plate that was made for family reunions, and that is of the Henry Skilton House in Plantsville, Connecticut. You can see the house today if you go south on Route 10, as if you're going towards Cheshire. Just before you hit the fork in the road at HQ Landscaping, there is a red house on your right-hand side, and that is the Henry Skilton House. He was a lawyer turned dentist. So, again, the Barnes Museum has a collection like, I'm gonna put you back here, sorry. The Barnes Museum has a collection like no other historical house museum. It's original to Southington and complete, and we want to continue again to bring you educational programming and hope that you join us every single week as we discover the amazing contents of this house and continue to explore local history. So thank you very, very much for visiting with us today. And if you think of any questions, send it to us later at the Barnes Museum at southington.org. And we look forward to talking to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye, Michelle.